Kentucky, Missouri tips off game 2. You can see in the left-hand column all the teams that are going to be on the floor here at Bridgestone today and tonight, and then tomorrow the Big Four, the double bye teams, Florida, Vanderbilt, Arkansas, and Alabama, will all be on the floor. Welcome inside. Delighted to be alongside my buddy and partner Jimmy Dykes, and of course Alyssa Lang is going to join us shortly. It feels very much like Florida is in line to defend their tournament title, and they may defend the national title. Is there another team or more that can beat them?
There is, but Florida right now has clearly established himself as the favorite in this tournament. They're also, I think, have locked up a #1 seed. They are a truckload. We'll see them later on this week. Are there teams here that can take them down? Yes, but it won't be easy. Kentucky, look at those guys right now, Ravi. They have not won this tournament since 2018. This is a very hungry, thirsty fan base in Bridgestone today for Big Blue.
Where would we be without this fan base? It is a sea of blue here, and they turn out to see #1 in their hearts, the guy that wears 00. That's Otega Owe.
Yeah, he has been outstanding. You could argue one of the best, if not the best, two-way guard in this league this year for what he's done on both ends of the floor. He leads the league in 20-point games, 14 altogether, the most in the SEC. He's been dynamic in the tough spots. I love his belief in himself and his belief in that Kentucky jersey. 00 Otega Owe is all that and more right now. And you look at what he's done in the regular season, driving downhill with force. He's averaging, Ravi, about 9 free throw attempts per game over the last 4. That is his game. If you're Missouri, you've got to stay in front of this guy who comes at you with all kinds of force for 40 minutes.
Speaking of Missouri, they're a bit of a mystery. Alyssa's there with her favorite Tiger.
With Truman right here next to me. When it comes to Missouri and their NCAA tournament hopes, Mark Mitchell is motivated. He comes into the SEC tournament leading his team in points, assists, and rebounds. It was good enough to earn him a spot on the All-SEC second team, but he didn't earn a spot in any of the media polls, something that puzzles his head coach, Dennis Gates. I asked Mark Mitchell if he's going to use that as a chip on his shoulder today. He said, maybe a little bit, but not really. I'm more so just excited to start a new season with my guys here in the month of March. He's looking to bring Missouri to back-to-back NCAA tournament appearances for the first time in 10 years. And in order to do that, guys, he's going to have to do exactly what Mark Mitchell has been doing all season long.
Shout out to Alyssa. Are you talking about focus early on? The Tiger over her shoulder, and she plowed through it.
Champ week focus.
Postseason, boys.
Yeah. We're underway. Kentucky controls the tip. Malachi Moreno out top, didn't play many minutes yesterday. He had 2 fouls early, and that's why we saw such an important, impactful game from Garrison. Ball lost early from Chandler, still loose, and Missouri and their whites will run out with it. This is, according to Dennis Gates, a gritty, gutty team. Finally healthy. They got Jayden Stone, they got Trent Pierce, a couple of guys that missed some significant time early back for them. They'll go low, and Moreno kept it alive. Owe was beaten to the ball, and now it's out of bounds, and a little anxiety and nerves early for both teams.
Well, to your point about Missouri, they're very physical, a huge front line and positional size at the guard spot. A very tough, rugged, 2-point defensive team Dennis Gates brings to Nashville.
4th year for Dennis Gates. Kentucky's starting 5 looks like this. Yelovich, who you see there on the screen wearing #4, had a great start yesterday, and then he kind of disappeared. See if they can continue to get him involved in the offense. 7 early ones yesterday.
Yeah, Colin Chandler's got to get involved for Kentucky. Has not shot that ball well the last 3.
Owe too strong in the baseline jumper.
Mark Mitchell is the problem when you play against Missouri. He has a ability to get to that free throw line and make plays on that 4 spot.
That baseline drive, and then cutting into the middle is Phillips Jr. The ball's on the floor. He keeps it alive. He's a 7-footer. Jayden Stone pulls up. He buries a 3 to start it.
He's a talented kid. Very explosive game. 37% from the 3-point line in conference play. Former track star. Man, as good of an athlete we have in the SEC at that guard spot.
And they double Aberdeen out front. They're going to get a whistle. They're going to call on Phillips Jr. Yes, they will. Good double team. You mentioned it too, Jayden Stone, Jimmy. Quite a story, this guy. He left his family in Australia when he was 15 to chase his basketball dream. Stone Cold is his nickname. He dealt with some real physical injuries and issues, including seizures early in his career, and has bounced back to be as important a player as they have.
He was a legit track star growing up in 100, 200 long jump.
Aberdeen's got an answer off a 16-point performance yesterday. Knocks down a 3 to tie it up.
Yeah, he had 16 points. Brandon Garrison had 17. Oweh had 23. If they get Colin Chandler going as he has for most of the season, man, it's a big deal. And here he goes. So I like that because he gets offense going, not off of a three-point shot, but off of a long-armed, aggressive defensive player that he is. Those three guards, Ravi, can switch and cover awfully well.
We've seen Chandler a lot this year, man. When he sees the ball go through, he's a different player. It didn't happen much in yesterday's opener, but he gets too early here. Mitchell with 7 on the shot clock. Moreno right on him. Good defense. And he forced up one that finds its way to the bottom.
Such a gifted guy. He moves like a pro. I don't know if he's going to be drafted. He's going to find his way onto somebody's team, though, because the versatility. You're right, man. He took a hard hit, but did not get off balance.
Coming off a season-high 32 in the regular season finale. Moreno now trying to do his work. Into the lane, the freshman throws it up with his left, and they're going to get Phillips Jr. with a whistle.
Right, you could see it coming. Phillips the entire time with his hands out in front of him. Just take the ball up through and get yourself to the line. Moreno took a shot to that right eye yesterday. Good to see him back.
So 20-12, 10-8. They lost 5 of their last 8. They needed a 20-7 run yesterday to win it. They're going to get in the tournament, but there has been a bumpy road for the Wildcats, to say the least, all season long in Mark Pope's second year.
Yeah, up and down, and very inconsistent team. Now, they have been stung by injuries. You go back to one of their biggest wins in non-conference against the Big East champion St. John's, pretty much a full roster. Jalen Lowe, Jaden Quaintance played in that game. They have been knocked around, and I think Mark Pope likes the fact they've been knocked around. They've shown some resiliency. They've been through hard times, not afraid of the big moment. And those are key guys, Ravi. Not just somebody. Those are key guys, starters that Mark Pope has maneuvered through SEC play without.
Yeah, second year in a row, too, that they've lost your point guard. And Aberdeen's been really good. I mean, you've got a handful of guys in the SEC who have been pressed into point guard roles when they weren't point guards to start. They get another turnover, and pinned on the sideline over there was Trent Pierce with no real outlet.
Good job by Kentucky aggressively to suck up that airspace. And Dennis Gates doesn't like the call. And Missouri trying to go 3 out of 4 years under Dennis Gates to the NCAA tournament.
Third turnover in 5 trips to get a head coach upset. Pope begging for the ball to get in there to Moreno as Oweh spreads to the corner, and they free up Yelovich for 3. That's way out. Good job by Aberdeen. Oh boy, he stayed right in front of Stone, and they blew the whistle.
But Stone is so explosive, and Ravi, you go back and watch this kid play. Number 17, he's so good at when he feels contact, boom, he really sells it and sometimes pops that head and shoulders back, gets himself to the line a ton.
The Turner was coined and an easy one for Barrett, man. He turned that corner and floated one in with Oweh, who yesterday, Jimmy, didn't exactly stay in front of his offensive player the entire game.
Well, that's going to be a problem against T.O. Barrett. He single-handedly beat Tennessee this year, just driving the ball downhill for 40 minutes.
Pretty play by Moreno on a give and go with Chandler.
That's good action on that empty side, empty corner two-man game between Chandler and Moreno. Moreno started the year, his last name was Moreno.
Yeah.
And his mom called in to a post-game radio show and said, hey, I just got to correct everybody. It's Marino, not Moreno.
Okay.
He didn't know himself. He then came back and said, wait, our last name's pronounced Marino? Yes, it is.
Today we're going to go with Marino. And Marino is the guy that had that pretty layup on that pass from Chandler.
Well, mom's going to like this. That's that empty corner two-man game. Boom. Crack that ball screen and come off it with a purpose. Really well done by Malachi Marino.
Mr. Marino.
When he couldn't picture this moment, that's what he thinks about when he thinks about this pressure they face, being such a privilege and a blessing, guys.
And 27, I believe, in that game against Oklahoma last year. And one thing that you appreciate about Otega Oweh is his inner voice is strong to himself. his belief in who he is. Mark Pope has talked to us several times about how this guy just carries so much weight on his shoulders, but 100% belief in that jersey and what he brings to it.
Yeah, he looked at this opportunity today facing Missouri, said we can send him home. They came to our home, beat us, so we just got to get our get back, which is what he's attempting to do today. He's had a lot of get back. He had 23 in that game yesterday against LSU, his 4th straight 20-plus game, and he's such a unique body that he can absorb and finish at the rim like very few others in this league. I mean, he is a relative, a brother of a football player in the NFL. He's got a football player mentality going downhill.
Yeah, no doubt. He's a lot of guys you describe as downhill drivers. I describe him as an uphill driver. When things get tough and he drags guys with him, he's as good as we have in this league at doing it. Feast or famine for Missouri so far, right? Have not missed a shot, but they've 4 turnovers on their 7 trips.
Well, there is a 7'5" guy on the floor now. That's Trent Burns. He tried to set one of those roadblock screens, denied there with a block underneath for Kentucky.
Yeah, good job by Marino. Get off that roadblock screen and get to that basketball.
Aberdeen, quick pass here. Guy that also impacted the game. Didn't have huge numbers, but man, did this guy, Mo Diabate, have a positive impact for Kentucky yesterday. Chandler with a good look, and there's Diabate.
Just a little bit of a rink up to that empty corner. That time it's Diabate who comes in and just, he gets stuff done is the best way to describe 23 in blue.
Anthony Robinson wears number 0. He's into the game for Missouri as well. It's E.O. Barrett. That hand was up high. It got Diabate in the face. He kept his ground. Here comes Chandler on the run out. Nice catch. Shot foot. Colin Chandler's having a phenomenal game early with his passing and his scoring.
What an answer from a guy who's not shooting the ball great, but man, impacting Big Blue Nation to start this one. 7-0 run for the Cats.
Defensive plays yesterday against LSU in 21 big minutes for Diabate. And as always said, he sets the tone for us. He's talking about Diabate. Fast start for the Cats, up 14-7. Pierce challenged 3. That was Chandler with a hand in his face, but the rebound goes to Missouri. And Mitchell works one-on-one. He's got size on Diabate. That's a difficult shot to block.
If you can't put bodies on Mark Mitchell, he's going to win the isolation game, especially when the defenders are just a tad smaller like Diabate is. Well, Missouri's got a lot to play for, do they not? Come in here's an 8 seed. They're right there on that, kind of around that cut line area for most projected brackets.
They've got some real good wins and some bad losses. Bad pass there from Aberdeen. A rare turnover, and Chandler with a reach in and a chance for 3.
This kid, Barrett, is one of the most physical guards in this league, and he's just a sophomore. And he can absolutely change the game on the defensive end. Good, alert, hot hands, and bam, goes right through the contact. The continuous motion rule comes into play this year. He also finishes it off with the best hair in this league. This guy just absolute winner. Plays the game like a football player. Ravi, you mentioned Missouri. They did not get work done in non-conference, but they were stung without Jaden Stone for a period and Trent Pierce. That starting lineup was not what it is now, and they have been terrific in conference play. I think every much looking like an NCAA tournament team.
You can see that word last. Anytime there's the word last or first from Joe Lunardi, not great right this time of year.
Yeah, last one in, first one out, man. Your life is misery. I've been there as a coach before.
Free throw is good. By the way, Tyler Tanner just entered the chat and said, well, what about my hair? Well, we give it to Barrett.
Yeah, that's 1A and 1B in this league, just off the top of my head, thinking about hair.
That's where you would think about it, top of your head.
Missouri will play a 2-3. They'll play a 1-3-1. A lot of zone under Dennis Gates.
What do you say, about 80-90% of this time?
Yeah, sure is.
So they get it into Diabate. And now he looks up and sees Phillips there. He uses the rim to his advantage.
He just gets stuff done. I mean, that's the guy that makes plays through you and through your chest. I'm a big fan of Mo Diabate. Kentucky's at their best when he's on the floor.
There's the alley-oop, pretty pass. They're going to blow the whistle, and that may be on Garrison. Nope, they're going to call it on Chandler with a push underneath. Jimmy, Kentucky with their dunks and their runouts, they're shooting 75%. They made 6 of 8. And Colin Chandler, who's had a good start, picks up his second foul. Sean Phillips Jr., the 7-footer, 56% free throw shooter, takes the first. Right here on the SEC Network tonight and the ESPN app, our next SEC Inside gets you an all-access pass to the SEC Women's Basketball Tournament. Join us at 6 Eastern, 5 Central. You'll get never-before-seen footage, sound from the players and coaches. You love a behind-the-scenes look. This is the behind-the-scenes look.
You're going to get a lot of Vic Schaefer and the Texas women's team winning that thing. Madison Booker, an absolute star. And checking in for Kentucky for the first time today, Cam Williams, been out for a long time in this right corner, 3 in blue.
Well, he can be his own breaker. Diabate, though, is having a pretty nice day to start. Can't get that to go. Sticks with it. But it's Missouri basketball with a chance with a 3 to tie it. And they got their 3-point specialist in. That's Jacob Cruz. Down right at the rim.
Just absolutely ate it up.
Away.
Garrison was the hardest playing dude on the floor for Kentucky yesterday. It needs to continue today.
Away. Right into Cruz, who was there to deny. The zone is slowing down Kentucky's offense. There's a drive. There's another block. And a chance for 3 as Aberdeen grab Mark Mitchell.
What an effort play by Mark Mitchell, Ravi, to come sprinting in from behind from a guard that's coming with jet speed and to be there and clean it up. Mark Mitchell, 25 in white, not a first-team All-SEC by vote, but he is by how he plays. The effort coming downhill. And T.O. Barrett goes into a timeout right now with a big momentum basket and a hustle play by Mark Mitchell.
T.O. timeout. I see what you did there, Jimmy Dykes.
Coach, couple of early turnovers for your squad. How have you seen them settle into this game?
Well, they've, at the end of the day, we got to continue to do it on the defensive end. I thought our guys were a little rattled at first. We allowed our early foul trouble to get in the way and impact the other end. We got to play one side at a time, be able to grab the ball with 2 hands, finish in the paint, and hit their physicality with more physicality, and that's what's taking place.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.
All right, Alyssa, thank you. Big fan of the way Dennis Gates has operated here at Missouri, and one of the reasons he's had great success is because the guy on the free throw line, Mark Mitchell, and a huge champion for Mitchell. He said, I want his numbers in the rafters someday. Duke transfer. He left a team that was 27-9. He went to Missouri to play for a team that Gates was 0-18 at one point. And his commitment to Missouri has been outstanding. On a 9-2 run now, the Tigers to tie this thing up at 16.
McDonald's All-American, 2 years at Duke. And Mark Mitchell averages right at 9-10 free throw attempts per game.
Always 3 way off. Look at Diabate in traffic. Jasper Johnson's got a chance. That's out. So they're going to have to make the 3s against that zone. They had 2 open looks at it.
Kentucky's going to have to guard the ball in this game. Stone, Barrett, Robinson, they can all get downhill when Dennis Gates spreads that floor like he has 4 round 1 right now.
Diabate rips another board on that miss from Stone on the baseline. 4 of the 5 guys on the floor for Kentucky started this game on the bench, including Diabate, who ran right into Phillips Jr., and he gets whistled for another one.
Good job by Diabate as he goes down, holding that high right shin, lower knee area, thigh area. He did a good job of taking up the slack in the defense. And that's what scorers do. Did not settle for that open 16-footer and put pressure right there. That's knee-on-knee action. We've all had it if we played. What a jolt to your system.
Bigger story, too, is now that Missouri bench. That's the 3rd foul, Jimmy, that's been called against Phillips Jr., the 7-footer junior. So we're going to see a lot of Trent Burns, who's about to check in at 7 feet 5 inches. You asked Gates about Burns, what's the ceiling? He said the ceiling's the NBA.
Yeah, his ceiling is awfully high because he's legit 7'5" to start with. But he's actually become a 15, 16-minute contributor for Dennis Gates over the last 6 or 7 games. Redshirted last year with a foot injury, didn't play. But 5 of his last 6 games, he's been in that 15, 16-minute mark.
Gates had a great line about him yesterday. His nickname is Trent Bayama, like Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah.
He said, I'm still waiting to see that, but that's his nickname.
Most 7'5" guys, their range is no far range.
Yeah.
Like you have no range. He can actually step out and knock some down. He's a very skilled kid.
They're going to get away with the call on a hold. Burns looks down at his feet and does he not realize that he's wearing 2 different color shoes, or is that on purpose? It's just so far down.
Yeah, so far down you're not sure. Yeah, like sitting in the upper deck. Look at, that's a good look for him, though. As I check my shoes to make sure.
We've got a great story on shoes, Dennis Gates shoes from Melissa in just a second.
A good job to show a championship chest right there by Moreno. Taking on a guard. I mean, that was outstanding.
Stone 3, that's too strong, and a rebound. Marino in traffic.
What a job by Marino to choke off that drive and then find that loose ball rebound as well on the back end.
Oweh. No, that's another missed 3. Cold shooting to start for Kentucky. Remember the dunks early, especially from Chandler. Rip away, it's 2-on-1 with Johnson. Oweh wants it back, he gets it on a nice pass and a volleyball tip-in.
I think that's a scouting report steal by Otega Oweh. Yeah, I love his instincts, but you watch enough film on Mark Mitchell, and these guys watch a lot of clips. He is a spinner at times in traffic, and Oweh just ate it up.
Good help from Marino that time. Robinson, he's grabbed by Jasper Johnson, and quickly Pat Adams with the call.
Yeah, Jasper's have to grow up in this tournament. Look at Mitchell right here. He's a little bit of a spinner, and Oweh, once he spins away from Oweh, is when you come as that second defender. Great timing and anticipation by Otega Oweh, and then the Cats are out and running. You can't come too early on those plays, Riley, with a guy you're still in his vision. Oweh was patient, gets the rip and run because of it.
Diabate tangled up underneath with Mitchell. The roll, that's 7-5, and that is unblockable.
It is. I mean, this guy really moves well. Just tremendous upside to this cat because he is all of 7'5". Easy money out of that roll.
Got a big wingspan right there inside that lane from Missouri on defense. How do you attack a zone with a 7'5" guy as the anchor?
You got to get that ball at that logo, regardless of what the size is at the rim, and play from there. Kentucky's stuck in mud in this possession.
3 seconds on the shot clock. Oweh fires a long one, no good.
And that ball never got side to side, never got below the free throw line extended.
Kentucky is 1 of 6 from three-point land to start this one. Dribbling by Stone with Diabate, who refused to yield. They had him on the back door, but Burns didn't throw it to him. Mitchell with 5. Far away from the basket with Moreno on him. The shot, and we're going to get a foul on Johnson, and that's going to be 3 free throws.
As I said, Jasper Johnson's got to grow up in this tournament, or Mark Pope can't play him. He had a bad sequence yesterday. He's coming to this game right now and has not held his own. Just absolutely losing his defensive discipline right here, jumping towards the shooter. Man, that is a mistake at any level. And he actually got into the feet of that shooter. I think there'll be some conversation around college ball this year that those fouls that occur when the defender gets into the landing space, I think we got to start looking at it, maybe a possible escalation besides more than just a common foul because of the injury factor. It all started in the NBA level with Kawhi Leonard a few years ago going out in the playoffs because of it. I think we got to take a look at it.
You have a cylinder call, and it's almost as if you're just moving that to a three-point shooter. You can't get in a cylinder.
You can't. Yeah. And Mark Pope seeing the same thing that I'm saying, and Jasper Johnson is going to sit. Boy, every possession is way too important in March for mistakes that shoot by own foot.
Requires Chandler to come on back in. He plays with 2 fouls. And it's 20-20 with 8.5 to go. First of 4 games in the SEC tournament, day 2. Top 4 seeds all off until tomorrow. On a baseline, Yelovich. Boy, there was some contact, but he's able to finish through it.
What a violent cut by Yelovich out of that corner. They went right at the rim protection of Missouri. Although he's 7'5", he stepped up a little bit. Just opens it up for Yelovich.
Anthony Robinson is a defensive star and was a starter on this team. Went through a real shooting slump. There you go, Wembanyama. No.
I told you he can shoot those out there. Now, can he make one is the second part of the equation. He's made one this year in conference play.
Marino will try his own.
His stroke looks a little better right now as a freshman.
Stone had nowhere to go, but he gets bailed out. They find the 7'5" Burns, who can't make the first one. He's in tight with his second. That's too strong.
Yeah, just a little bit of contact knocks him off. That's okay. He'll get there. Plays with good balance.
7'5", 260.
Still learning leverage. That's a process for someone that tall.
Moreno, he got through the double team and lays it up and in. They're trying to take advantage now of Burns.
As long as he is, that became strength versus length. Marino being the strength on that play.
You wondered the impact that Marino's not playing yesterday more than 20 minutes would have today. Fresh legs, and he's been off to a very good start.
Great play. I thought that Denzel Aberdeen was driving the ball at Colin Chandler in the far corner. But the defense didn't come off of Chandler, and Denzel Aberdeen says, thank you very much.
Lead is 6, Big Blue Nation on its feet. No good. Great job by Williams to get his hand in there and deflect it to Chandler. That's going to be a foul against Missouri. And there's a Phillips factor going on, Jimmy, since he went out with that foul. An 8-4 run for the Cats.
Well, Mark Pope has inserted Cam Williams. He comes up with a kind of a loose ball tap to give Kentucky a possession. Look at Moreno. He's 7 feet, but right now he's stronger than 7'5", so strength whips length. And the hard drive by Denzel Aberdeen in that long stride stop frees him up. Well done, 1 in blue.
Arkansas and Alabama played the game of the year, maybe in college basketball, certainly in the SEC, that double overtime thriller.
And we could be looking at a rematch of that on Saturday in the semis. Kentucky clean the basketball right now, only 2 turnovers. Looking at Darius Acuff, he joins Kentucky's Anthony Davis and Alabama's Brandon Miller as the only 3 in SEC history, Ravi, to win Freshman of the Year and SEC Player of the Year. That's how special that guy has been.
Yelovich wants another 3, and they continue to be cold from out there. Now 1 of 8. Missouri's missed their last 6 shots. Kentucky is feasted actually in the paint because of their inability to knock down those 3s. So they've outscored them 18-10. Robinson right by. Good defense by Garrison with the help out of bounds off Missouri.
Not good, great defense by Garrison, because he was put in a real bind to hold his ground. You hear me talk all the time as a post player. The floor is your friend. And Garrison rotates over. He's not the first guy off the floor. He elevates and chews that ball up. And a great job of rim protection by BG. Kentucky screened in the top of that zone, trying to turn the corner. They like teams that stay aggressive against the zone. They don't settle for quick jump shots. Mark Pope is a very clever play caller against man in zone. Right now he's trying to work that top. Continue to get his guards downhill.
Really interesting what's going on with Will Howard, the official, Dennis Gates, and I think we're going to work on a truck and showing it to you, Jimmy, as they try to get a review. As Yelovich goes to the paint again, they've got 20 of their points in the paint, and the largest lead they've had all game.
Well, Kentucky has gone right at the 7-5 rim protection of Missouri.
Foul there, maybe on Owe again. Yes, it is on Ortega Owe. That's his second. So Dennis Gates wanted to get a review of the ball that was knocked out of bounds because Robinson said he should. But before he got the cue from his video guy, he had two of his players tie their shoes. And Will Howard was all over it. It's a delay tactic that coaches in basketball, managers in baseball will try to use. And Will Howard said, no. You had your guys tie their shoes to buy me some time, and that's going to be done immediately.
Yeah, there's a difference. Officials are good at pausing a little bit themselves on a play like that, but once something else starts going on, a good job by Pat Adams, Byron Jarrett, Will Howard to say no, not on our watch.
T.O. Barrett's free throw is the first, can't make the second. Stop the tournament. He's under 5 to go here. Game 1 on day 2. Kentucky shooting 53% from the floor. They're holding Missouri at 33%. The screen and the roll with Yelovich and Aberdeen gets blown up. Williams missed a dozen games. He's back for the first time yesterday. And Denzel Aberdeen ran right into traffic and had to go out of bounds.
I mean, that's a 2-3 zone by Missouri on that possession. They're lifting the back line high. It's almost like a 4-1 zone. Syracuse uses that alignment a lot under Jim Boeheim back in the day. But Kentucky's got to get the ball there. That logo, man, it's just a magnet against the zone. The ball gets there, good things happen for you.
You have Kentucky up 8 with Owe scoring just 2 points.
Well, they have shown that as good as he is, they got other guys that ran a bad decision. Hope is not a plan.
Right into Barrett, and he's able to control it, lose it, and an easy one there as they had 3 guys on the offensive glass quickly.
That's twice in this first half. Missouri has outworked Kentucky in transition. Loaded for the cleanup. Blue jerseys watching while white jerseys are finishing.
Talk about physical. This is a conference of physicality as Aberdeen's 3 is way off. Yelovich, an active first half for Andrea Yelovich. Williams. Yes, boy, that is a shooter's touch.
What a soft shot.
Steal on the other end by Aberdeen. Up, no good. Away there. Bad mistake by Missouri on the inbounds.
What an individual play by Denzel Aberdeen. And listen to Bridgestone.
Mitchell just threw it up there off the window as Yelovich continues to play a very good game for Kentucky today.
Ravi, this zone has bothered Kentucky's rhythm. And right now it's a stack zone, a 1-1-3. It'll change within the possession. That ball's got to stay hot. You've got to cut it.
Yelovich in the paint. Throws it up and in. How about Yelovich today?
Maybe his most physical basket he scored as a Kentucky Wildcat.
.11 lead. Battle underneath. And they are not going to call that on Owe, who is playing with 2 fouls. We are under 4, Jimmy, 2:50 to go, and the Cats got an 11-point cushion.
Yeah, they've won 31 SEC tournament titles more than anybody else. They're trying to keep alive to try to get 32. Look at this soft shot by Cam Williams. If you're not a great shooter, you don't get that bounce. That thing has very small landing space. And look at Aberdeen. Started back with a retreat step and came right back and ate it up. Good on good guard play. Aberdeen won, and this is the play I'm talking about. Yelovich, a lot of finesse in his game. Early, starting to understand collisions at the rim in this league.
And he does this literally minute by minute. Miami of Ohio, he said, remains in the field as an at-large following the loss you just talked about. Auburn falls out of the field pending their game later today with Tennessee. You see the last 4 in: Missouri and Texas, 2 SEC teams right on the bubble, and Texas, of course, went home last night. The first 4 out. Auburn at the top of that list, meaning there is a way back in.
No doubt. Now, the NCAA metrics that we always go by, they don't favor Miami of Ohio, but 31 wins is 31 wins.
Sure.
I certainly hope they get in there. They have been magnificent. People say they didn't beat anybody. No, they beat everybody on their schedule until today. So it's certainly not good news for Auburn and anyone that's flirting with that cut line.
How about that dribble in? Cruz finally open for a 3. It was 3/4 of the way down, and Chandler, one of 4 guards playing with 2 fouls for Kentucky here in the last 2 1/4. Johnson, Chandler, each with 2.
Kentucky is 9 out of 10, Ravi, shots at the rim. Continue to pound that thing inside.
Jasper, that's a difficult catch. Marino had it and missed one. Out of bounds, it'll stay with Kentucky.
That's probably my fault, according to the Kentucky fan base. That's how they operate with me. 9 out of 10. Now they're 9 out of 11 since we talked about it. But just continue to go at Missouri on the inside with your Kentucky.
24 points in the paint to 14 for Missouri.
The last meeting, Kentucky had 28 points,
yes,
paint points total, right?
Yes.
24 already today. That's learning from game film.
Yelovich, 6 points, 5 rebounds. Spin move for Owe, and yes, he gets it to go.
That was good on good, because Stoneman is a low explosive athlete with a lot of dog in him. Otega Owe eventually got lower and spun off of it, get himself to that right side of the rim.
Mentioned that 3rd foul for Sean Phillips. Since then, 19-10 in favor of Kentucky. Good hands that time by Johnson. He's on a run out. He's got it. Up and in. No, he will shoot 2 as that ball went off the backboard, then the rim. Johnson will go to the free throw line.
Everything Otega Owe does on the court is done with force and fight. And this is good on good right here. Otega Owe gets lower right there and spins off that pressure, just spins the pressure off. He is such a tough cover. You win your battle in the paint by who gets lower first. And that time it was Owe.
Again, this is a very physical defense for Missouri. Stone and Barrett are real solid, but Owe is just unique in his ability to drive, and it looks like the officials want to take a look at that foul on Johnson before he goes to the free throw line to shoot a couple. So Missouri, Jimmy, let's just take a look at them. They lost
The call on the floor is a common foul. The play is under review for a possible flagrant 1 foul.
You see Jasper Johnson going in for the layup, and yeah, that's probably going to be escalated to an F1. I mean, anytime you have a hard hit to the head area like that right there, it's with his elbow. I'd probably live with it going either way. He's trying to get to the ball, but I think the 2nd or 3rd time that Pat Adams and Byron Jarrett and Will Howard look at it, they're going to walk away as an F1. You just have to, Ravi. You got to protect airborne shooters. They're in a high risk for injury on those plays, and we started emphasizing that 2 or 3 years ago, and I think this is exactly what they'll walk away with.
And if day 1 was any indication, it would be elevated to an F1. We saw a handful of those yesterday. Missouri lost their last 2 of the regular season, won an overtime heartbreaker to Arkansas. They got wins over Florida, A&M, Kentucky. They beat them 73-68 on the 7th of January. And it was Coach Calipari who thought, you know, Gates and Sean Miller would be his coaches of the year in the conference. Of course, it went to Todd Golden.
It ended up being Todd Golden.
Yeah.
I could have argued for Bucky McMillan at Texas A&M, what he did, where he was picked. It's taken a little longer than I thought. Such an emphasis to protect airborne shooters.
After review, the call will stand as a common foul. It'll be 2 shots for Kentucky.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
And Kentucky and Mark Fox, we were here yesterday watching that game. They had a couple of calls go against them that were elevated to F1.
Yeah.
You remember the reaction from Fox, who had a similar disbelief reaction on that one.
Mark Pope getting an explanation that he's probably not going to like. That's a pretty hard hit on Jasper Johnson while he's in the air. I would have no problem at all with that thing being escalated to an F1. And Mark Pope's, I'm sure, had a very similar conversation.
Is there a gray area where the crew chief or subsequently the entire crew would have an influence on that decision? Because yesterday that might have been an F1.
Well, every play is also viewed back in Birmingham, we know that. But they're not making the call. They're just showing the officials all the views they have and maybe giving some advice. But that one surprises me.
Last minute of play, 38-26, Kentucky. Very good defense as Mitchell can't get that to go. Mo Diabate again with a positive impact.
He just makes winning plays, Diabate. He wins that plus-minus stat sheet as much as anybody on this Kentucky team.
Johnson to Diabate. They had Williams wide open in the corner with his hand up, and Diabate was in such traffic, he had no chance to get it to him.
If you're Missouri, these ball screen actions by Kentucky, you cannot let those Kentucky guards reject it and get downhill. So then it becomes a numbers game favorable to the team in blue.
Johnson steps into it, three too strong.
That's just not the shot that Mark Pope wants.
They can take the last shot here. And Cruz will fire with 16 on the clock, and that is a layup for him.
Yeah, Kentucky just not at all aware of the elevator screen play for Jacob Cruz. When he comes in and goes under the rim, you know what's going to happen. It all started, though, with a bad shot taken by Jasper Johnson. We should have an official stat sheet that is listed BST, bad shots taken. And you can show guys, look, you're leading us right now in the category we don't want you to lead. But start with a bad take, and then Missouri runs really good action. They get Cruz to stick his head underneath the rim, but he comes out that elevator screen, and they close off the Kentucky defense, and a big shot, man, right before the half.
That's a 45% three-point shooter, Jimmy. And in his last 7 games, he'd been only 3 of 17. And you asked Coach Gates yesterday during the shoot-around, hey, Coach, what's up with Cruz? He hasn't made shots. He said, well, if you had, 2 or 3 guys on you and you can't get the shots off, well, you're going to be a little bit colder. But that time was wide open. That's like a layup for him.
Yeah, he's 25 years old and married. He's got a son. And this is the bad shot, I think, by Jasper Johnson right there. It's way too much time to settle for that thing, drive that thing downhill. And instead, he jumps up and shoots one. And that's not what you want in a short clock situation. Kentucky now 2 out of 11 from that three-point line.
They'll get it with 7.8 to go. Aberdeen back in the game with Owe. He drives into the corner with hands. He fades, fires, can't get it to go, and that will be the way the half ends. They shot it well, just under 50%, 15 to 31. They did miss 9 of those threes, but their defense held Missouri in check. Tigers just 2 of 7 from deep. Mark Pope's going into halftime for a team that historically this year has started slowly. They deliver a good first half. Alyssa is with the coach, Mark Pope.
Coach, it felt like you guys had some good momentum going on the steal from their inbounds and then points. How do you generate more of that in the second half?
Well, our half-court defense has been really pretty solid. Our guys have been physical and kind of saying no. Our catch moves have been good. It's been transition defense that's the issue. We got to clean that up, and that starts with some more solid offense. But overall, that pace of the game is going to increase, and we got to be up to the task.
Thank you, Coach. Peter, back up to you.
Thank you, Lang. Welcome you to the Academy Sports and Outdoors halftime report.
Not only are they fighting in a microcosm here, they're also dealing with the bubble as well.
Yeah.
Here's the interesting update from Joe Lunardi. Miami of Ohio lost to UMass today. They, of course, were unbeaten. So they moved to the last 4 in. The first 4 out do have 2 SEC teams in Auburn and Oklahoma. Texas is also last 4 in, but Missouri is now in the field more comfortably than those, but it's close. Let's get an update from Alyssa on what he said during the half.
Yeah, I asked him what his message was to his team. He said, well, it's clear Kentucky's goal was to out-physical us down low, and they've done a good job so far, reminding his guys to face up, face the basket. Talk to him about Kentucky's success in the paint so far. He pointed to Sean Phillips Jr. only playing 5 minutes in that first half because of 3 personal fouls and needing to get him back in the mix.
No doubt about it. We call it the Phillips factor in the first half. He did play just 5 minutes. It was very different with him on the floor. First shot was missed, and here comes Kentucky.
Only 4 turnovers for Kentucky in the first half. And Denzel Aberdeen, this kid with the ball, over his last 5.5 games, grabbing 28 assists and only 4 turnovers. He has assumed that PG1 spot really well.
Chandler.
Good news.
Yes, rattles in a 3.
Really good news because Chandler has struggled shooting that basketball coming in. Only 2 out of his last 13 in his last 99 minutes. He is a difference maker when that 3-point shots fall.
Remember, he had a couple of early dunks on runouts, and now a 3-pointer goes. And it's a 41-29 lead for Kentucky.
Coach talked about how proud he was of his defense in the first half.
Is still in the game. There's Phillips Jr. on the bench to start. Another challenge shot. There's the 7'5" Burns with the offensive rebound.
Always standing and watching instead of scraping down and getting in the fight. Now he picks up another foul.
Third foul on Otega Oweh.
It's not the energy right there that I've seen from Otega Oweh all season long.
On the defensive end.
Yeah, well, it was a 15-foot available rebound. He kind of stood and watched, and then as Gates talked about, create closeouts, and Otega Oweh fouls on the closeout.
Challenge of having to play on a Wednesday, Jimmy, is this idea of playing back to back to back.
Yeah, no. Don't even let that factor in. Do not let that factor in for Kentucky or anybody else. You're in March.
That's going to be called against Marino. It's a theme that Pope brings up often.
He does.
And the 4 guards now, Oweh with 3 fouls, and the other 3 all have 2 fouls.
Well, there's a difference in going to your bench because of foul trouble and going to your bench just because. And Mark Pope is, I think, seeing more and more the importance of his best 5 on the floor.
There are coaches who will tell you the reason we're fouling. We're a little lazy, a little tired right now. Interesting to see when Gates goes to Phillips again. There's a roadblock screen set by Burns, and then not an easy one for Barrett on the other side.
Missouri is not exceptionally fast at the guard spot, but man, they are exceptionally physical. And that was just a strength drive by Barrett.
Oweh, he used Marino, and he had it knocked out of his hands. Picked off Aberdeen. 3-on-1 with Oweh and Chandler. Great fake there by Aberdeen for an easy layup.
Very good to ball fake that pressure off of him. That's been Missouri's trouble all year long. They are the worst in the league at taking care of that basketball.
8 turnovers, make it 9.
Again.
Another 2-on-1 Oweh. Wide open, and the points in the paint. And the turnovers are killing Missouri right now.
Yeah, you can't defend turnovers. And Dennis Gates looking at his guards right now saying, what are we doing?
14-point lead, the largest of the game. 9 turnovers for Missouri.
Look at Kentucky. And Aberdeen, I talked about how he's developed as a point guard. That's a good job in transition to give it up and get it back instead of letting the ball get stuck on that left side. And there's that Kentucky defense. They have been alert, and they have played with hot hands so far in this ball game. The run out, an easy 2 for double O. Mark Pope has had as a head coach. His numbers weren't great at BYU, and Kentucky, he told Alyssa at halftime, I'm really pleased with my team's defense. And look at that, 13 assists on 18 makes. Just jackhammering that ball inside, dominating points in the paint.
Mitchell goes into the paint, finger roll up and in. Phillips Jr. is back into the game again, only 5 minutes for the 7-footer. The junior who shoots about 70% from the floor. Down by Missouri, back into their zone defense. And Chandler bounces it to Marino and Yelovich. That was blown up, but there's a lot of contact. And a whistle from Pat Adams.
Well, Kentucky went back to that empty corner 2-man game that I diagrammed in the first half. And this time now, the 2-man game, they're trying to find a cutter. Yelovich from the weak side.
Ravi, you mentioned Sean Phillips Jr. has checked back into this game. He was very vocal in that last Missouri timeout, making sure that his guys not only stayed calm, but firing them up at the same time, adding, "We are fine, we will be okay." This is a team that fully understands what these games at the SEC tournament mean for the NCAA tournament, something that they told me they don't have to talk about. It's understood without having to.
And roll by there, thanks Alyssa, by Chandler. Phillips started his career at LSU, 2 years at Arizona State. He never won more than 14 games in a year or 8 in the Big 12, and the turnover bug continues to bite Missouri.
They're just way too loose for that basketball, the guys in white.
Chandler, 3. Quick 3. No. Loose ball. We're going to get a whistle. Pat Adams said push underneath. Calls that.
Ready to finish up on Phillips. He's also the first to the conflict and the last to leave the conflict. And he's got a lot of toughness about him, not afraid to join the fight or start the fight at times. And I think that points to Alyssa's report about the importance of his voice with some fire and some passion in that timeout, because he leads Missouri in that area.
Game winner against A&M. He had a big block in that game. That foul was called against Yelovich, and his first. 14-point cushion. That's the largest thing. Mitchell up with a flush right over Marino.
He is such a tough cover with or without the basketball, because he cuts so hard and with a purpose. And the more you can get isolation plays for Mark Mitchell, the better you are for Dennis Gates.
Williams had 1-3 in his first game back after missing a dozen. He's open for one now.
Not good. Great ball movement. Didn't get the shot to fall, but tremendous. Going one more on the possession.
Didn't get the shot to fall. They got the shot they wanted. Mitchell doing work. Down low, lays it up and in, and just like that, we're back to a 10-point game.
Isolation basketball early in possession for Mark Mitchell before the defense can really get set and scrape down. Quick action for Mark Mitchell is good action.
Feels like a connection to having Phillips back on the floor. Whistle as Marino goes down, and is this one going to be against Phillips? That was the guy that was guarding him. We'll see. I saw 5 come up. May have called that one on Barrett. That's his second. Well, BBN, Big Blue Nation in town, and this time of year they turn this place into Big Blue Nashville. And right now Kentucky is riding the emotion of this home crowd. It is blue at Bridgestone, and it's a 10-point lead for Kentucky. Winner gets the #1 Gators tomorrow. Relationship building. He's done it with so many of his guys, and Mitchell made it quite clear. It doesn't matter that I'm going to a team that was 0-18 at one point and leaving Duke. And the impression that he's going to leave on Missouri is permanent. His team is down by 10 right now.
Well, they're down 10. Only Tennessee played at a slower pace this year in SEC play. So you play slow, man, you've got to take care of those possessions and not turn that ball over for Missouri.
Oh, it steps into one. That's a good 3 out of the break.
I'm just telling you, there's something about the belief in that kid. He can miss 3 or 4 in a row, but he always thinks the next one's going in. A little bit of an awkward release, but he came off of it with a purpose. Clean off that ball screen action.
And another game in double figures for Otega Owe. He's got 11 now. Another near turnover for Missouri. Great hands. Not of Stone, and then out of bounds goes Robinson.
Well, Kentucky has really pressed Missouri out with a pressure defense. An extra 2 or 3 steps, making life heck right now for the Tigers. Talk about Otega Owe. Late clock, doesn't let the pressure bother him. Diabate is the playmaker. Not a lot of a screen, just enough, but that switch was low and late. And Otega Owe makes him pay.
6 guys with 6 or more points for Kentucky in what has been a total team effort with great balance. Owe spins in. He gets the whistle against Missouri. That's going to be against Robinson, who's had a bumpy last 20 seconds, stepping on the out-of-bounds line and then fouling Owe.
We talked about it earlier. Otega Owe, Ravi, 36 free throw attempts over his last 4 games. He's made 29. He puts pressure on the rim in the half court as well as anybody in this league.
Got it. Chandler 3. High arc asking one, and he will end up with 3 free throws on the air ball, and the foul charge to Mark Mitchell.
Yeah, I say got it because Kentucky really extended their personnel. So what that did was opened up Colin Chandler. After that ball was inbounds, he just won the foot race to that left side. Colin Chandler right there, that's too clean of a look for a guy that shooting 48% for the most part in conference play, but a terrific play design by Mark Pope to stretch that personnel out.
Yeah, and give Pope credit because Aberdeen has been the release valve on every one of those inbounds where they have thrown touchdown passes. This time he was back in the end zone, and they went short and set up an open 3 for Chandler.
Yeah, so by doing that, man, you kind of remove another defender, and it becomes a 4-on-4 game instead of 5-on-5.
And that was one of the few times Missouri actually guarded that play. Chandler's a very good free throw shooter at 83%. He's having a good game here. He's been in a bit of a scoring slump.
You got to remember, he was ranked number 32 in his high school class coming out of high school before he went on that Mormon mission. A lot of growth in this kid.
Just can't go too deep. And an easy one there for Phillips Jr., who was looking for a foul call on Marino and didn't get it. Owe bangs into his defender, fires a little too strong, and how about Barrett going up in traffic to guard to get the rebound. Whoa, cool swing out of the way. Mitchell, that's a good block by Marino.
Great job by Marino to keep his body off.
The Avante train, no good. Marino missed it, and then he held on to the rim. They're going to call offensive goaltending. They would not let that basket count. And it's Missouri basketball.
I like Kentucky, although they're with the lead. Man, they're staying aggressive. Any turnover, any defensive rebound, Mark Pope is flooding that floor with speed. And look at Diabate right there. He gets downhill, and Marino comes in, and right there, when he pops that rim up, no more. And go the other direction.
See if they can get 35 and wide open for some of his threes. Shoot 45%. He's alone in the corner with Owe. Headed to the basket, and Garrison just got blown up by Phillips, who had a few words for Garrison after it went through the basket.
He just absolutely owned Brandon Garrison that time, did Phillips. He got that ball on the left block, and as soon as he feels Garrison get on that high shoulder, it is over. That is easy money. Garrison gets on the left side of the body, and that baseline spin action, too big, too strong, or too good.
Definitely a difference maker. You heard Alyssa say. Phillips Jr. played 5 minutes in the first half with foul trouble. He knocks the free throw down, and he is the emotional leader. Made a great point, Jimmy, about he'll be the first one in the fight and the last one to leave it.
Yeah, well, a lot of guys are the second guy in the fight, and the first guy to leave the fight, not him. He's first and last. 1 year at LSU, 2 years at Arizona State, prior to Missouri.
Gates was just over there kind of telling him, just calm it down. You watch Gates on the sideline. There's a lot of Leonard Hamilton in him. That, of course, was the man he coached under forever. He said, I got a silent confidence about me. You're not going to see a lot of emotion as the whistle blows. And he says, my demeanor comes from what this generation of kids need. So he will look at his players, and right now it's Phillips and saying, let it breathe. Don't be affected by the whistles.
Well, now his mind is going 100 miles an hour,
Sure.
but he does a great job of deflecting that off of his kids, allowing them to stay focused. He's a good encourager, and the look doesn't change. The suit is the same suit. The shoes are the same shoes. What do you say? He got those shoes his first day at the press conference at Cleveland State back in 2019. He's worn them every game since.
The only thing that's changed are the laces.
That's it.
The laces, because they just got worn out.
Kentucky's got to stay in front of the ball because that's Missouri's strength.
Yeah, no way didn't do it there. That's a pretty play. Barrett takes it to the hole.
Robbie, you could just see it coming. T.O. Barrett came down that floor just looking, just give me a little bit of a gap. I'll get lower than you and find leverage. It's hard to put this Missouri team away because those guards, downhill, good. The hair is great. And Missouri right now on a little bit of a run. 7-0.
53-37. Jimmy said going to break a 7-0 run.
That's a good example of Barrett. He's an uphill driver. A lot of guys can get downhill when it's clean. He gets uphill when there's traffic.
Owe corner 3. Bang.
Yeah, want the confident try by Owe. Missouri comes out of timeout in the zone, and Ortega Owe says, okay, I'm going to sit on this right corner, flatten that zone out. Late recovery, Ortega makes him pay.
He's getting very physical underneath between Garrison and Phillips.
Ortega Owe has an awkward release. And he is wide open, so he has time to stick the ball out before it goes up. And 37% on the year. It's not how you teach shooting, but he believes in it, and he's shot him 1,000 times. Talked to him earlier this year about the number of hours he worked on that jump shot coming into this year.
So Garrison, who was arguably the star of the game yesterday, checks out, and back into the game is Marino. Owe is playing with 3 fouls for Kentucky. Ball off the backboard goes a 3 from Mitchell.
Yeah, he missed it so bad it went in. It's a good closeout by Diabate.
Single-digit lead for the Cats. Good hands from behind to get still 10 on the shot clock. Down to Diabate with 2. Spins to his right. Nice play, Mo Diabate.
He just makes plays. I'm telling you, Kentucky, they're at their best when 23 and blue's on the floor. Rav, it is so difficult to not feel the shot clock pressure and traffic like that. Really well done by Mo Diabate.
He's got 8. The balance scoring continues. Barrett a blow by on Chandler. Throws it up. No good. A lot of traffic underneath. Count that for Phillips.
They may look at that because that's, to me, just an intentional grab of the jersey as well. There's value in this game. Those Missouri guards getting a shot up on the glass and letting the size of guys like Phillips come in. Look at Ortega Owe. Finds Diabate. Shot clock winding down. He takes a quick glance at it, but he does not get sped up. That's a high-level play. This is what T.O. Barrett does. He finds contact, plays through contact. The value in March of guards can get the ball on the glass and drag in your offensive rebounding monsters. Missouri just did it well.
Watch, which is a huge story, given how great Nate Ament has been as a freshman this year. So that's the game coming up. Here, Missouri is also maybe just nudged off the bubble, but not far enough to be comfortable at all. And that guy has been in the middle of everything. Phillips is a +6 when he's on the floor, and Missouri's a -15 with him on the bench. If they lose this, it still looks okay at 60%, but a win is all but getting them in.
Well, what has helped teams like Auburn and Missouri and Texas, that bubble this year is extremely soft. And teams have lost in the last 2 or 3 days, so not a lot of movement along that cut line.
Well, guys, I was just listening in on that Kentucky huddle. Head coach Mark Pope telling his guys how happy he is with the fight of his team right now. Probably not happy with that turnover.
No,
or that layup. And again, it was Phillips' hands on the other end that led to that disruption and turnover.
There was a sentiment in that Kentucky huddle, guys. Players saying they are playing for their NCAA tournament lives right now. It is on us to deny them from that.
Aberdeen will step into a 3 that was halfway down. Look who comes up with a defensive board. It's Phillips.
Ravi, we used to come in this arena and teams feared playing Kentucky. That's not the case right now. Now, Mark Pope's challenge is to get Kentucky back to that level, but even a team like Missouri feels like we can hang with Kentucky anytime. They've already beat them once this year. I think that's a big part of where we are in this tournament in the SEC and what Mark Pope, the challenge in front of him. Look at this steal right there, just a long reach in. Diabate gets that ball loose. You got to keep that thing within your shoulders and tight to your body anytime it's inside the paint. A good rip and run for the Missouri Tigers.
Jimmy, they got Marino with his 3rd foul, so we have 10:28, more than half of the half to play. He's got 3 fouls, and as good as Brandon Garrison was yesterday, Garrison is not having that game again today, but he's going to be pressed into action.
Well, he could also come with Yelovich.
The call on the floor is a common foul. I'm going to review a potential non-basketball play before the foul occurs.
We'll scan the video to see which non-basketball play they're talking about.
Yeah,
Diabate
right there.
That's Diabate and Phillips.
Yeah, watch right there. That right arm comes through, and Diabate gets his head jerked back. And good job by that Kentucky staff to see it. I know there's a movement right now triggered by Garth Blissman, the SEC, in the offseason start putting appeals and challenges under one umbrella, trying to clean up what we look at. But anytime there's contact above that head and shoulders area, those officials are going to go to that monitor when it comes to their attention.
You can see veteran official Don Daly right there as well. Baseball tripleheader Saturday right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. Middle game of each three-game series, so good pitching on the mound. 8-2 Eastern, fourth-ranked Mississippi State, led by Brian O'Connor now, first year there. Gets sixth-ranked Arkansas, Dave Van Horn. Georgia will host Tennessee in a top 20 showdown. And it is LSU and Vanderbilt at 8 p.m. Eastern time on Saturday right here in Nashville. Good sports day on Saturday with basketball and baseball. Players Championship on the ESPN app as well. 7-point game. Review is taking a little bit here to find out if they're going to upgrade that on Phillips, who picked up his third personal. As big a third personal as Owe and Marino have on them.
Robert, we know the hot words excessive and unnecessary is how they're viewing that play right now through their eyes.
Jimmy will get the report here from Byron Jarrett, whether we're going to upgrade it or not. Those guys, Phillips and Marino, with a big influence. Lower right part of your screen, you can see Diabate be yanked backwards.
Well, it's going to get upgraded to a flagrant one. Again, right there's what we're looking at. And you draw that head back, and you're the initiator of the contact. So we have a common foul. We're going to shoot for those, and we're going to shoot free throws for the F1, and then Kentucky's ball. A big play in this game.
We have a common foul on Kentucky, and then we also have an unobserved flagrant one foul on Missouri. Number 5, White will shoot the free throws for the common foul, and number 23 for Kentucky will shoot the flagrant one foul, and Kentucky will have the ball out of bounds.
You know, and you can see the byplay between Gates and Phillips because it is getting a little heated inside that paint with Phillips and Marino, and Phillips in Diabate, and Gates has really implored his player to try to stay calm and balanced.
Well, Dennis Gates knows. It's interesting. I asked Dennis yesterday, who's your best voice? He said, well, I got captains, and then I got Sean Phillips, who's actually our leader. And he talked about he's the first guy to fight, last guy to leave it. There's always a thin line you can't cross over. And Phillips has done it a few times this year, but that's a big play in this game. And the officials right on top of it to go to that monitor and look at that play through the eyes of excessive and unnecessary. Well done.
So Barrett's trying to get this lead down to 5. And, of course, Diabate will then go and shoot his 2 free throws. T.O. Barrett, sophomore, 6'4", 205 out of Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, knocks down the 2 for the original foul. And now with a 5-point lead, Kentucky will send Diabate to the free throw line.
One of my favorite questions to ask guys throughout the course of the season, who's your unsung hero? And a lot of Kentucky players would tell you Mo Diabate. Otega Owe told me he's a junkyard dog. He's going to go in, he's going to do the dirty work, and he never gets tired. He said sometimes we show up to practice, we think people are going to be a little down, maybe out of energy. Never Mo Diabate. He's always out there setting the tone for us, an unsung hero for Kentucky.
Yeah, he certainly is, and we can comment more on that. Phillips has 4 fouls, Jimmy, so that was his 4th on the away from the ball call, and that is a huge story. It hurt him when he was out of the game in the first half. They went right down low to take advantage of Burns, the 7'5" player out of Texas. We'll see if they do that again. But Owe is right when he talks about Diabate, as are all the Kentucky players.
Well, remember, Diabate had a 16-rebound game versus the Houston Cougars when he was at Alabama. That's uncommon to do against a Kelvin Sampson team. He just brings that toughness and grit and strength and moxie that's expected from a Kentucky player.
Keep an eye on 7 White. Burns 7'5" down low.
Well, he comes in, they go zone. A lot of times it's 2-3 to keep him parked out right in front of that rim.
Aberdeen backs his way in, throws it to Marino underneath, and that ball is out of bounds. It's going to be a foul. Called on Burns, I believe.
Kentucky has not shied away at all from 7'5" Burns in this game. Anytime he's checked in, they've driven the ball at his length. They've spun off of the length. Mark Pope understands in March, you win games on the glass and at the free throw line.
They instead whistled on 11. Pierce, that's his second. And Marino, who's become a very good free throw shooter, rattles that home. Remember, Marino was not projected to be this impactful of a guy when you lost Quaintance.
Ravi, look at this shot. The ball's going to get behind his head as it goes up right there. That's what he's got to work on in the offseason. Smooth that shot out a little bit. He's launching more than releasing, but he'll work on it. The kid loves the game. A lot of times big guys, the game chooses them.
Yeah.
He chose basketball. He truly loves it. He'll put the work in.
Yelovich bodies up on a nice play, man. He is a scorer. Mark Mitchell.
He's as tough a cover as there is in this league at that 4 position. And the more times Missouri can get him on an island isolated, the better chances they are down 5.
5-point game, 9:30 to go. Mitchell, 20 points in the game. Yelovich, no good, and Barrett's got a chance. 3-on-3 to start. Burns fills in. Missouri has chipped away at this. Phillips was critical out on the bench. Mitchell's been outstanding. Spin move in the paint, and he will have 2 more. And Marino now has picked up his 4th foul.
Ravi, to my point, spot on. That's a play call by Dennis Gates to get his best player one-on-one and just say, hey, just go to work. In the previous possession right there, he's so good, low and strong, ripping that ball side to side, staying on balance. And then the very next play call is all isolation. Everything on the other side of the floor was absolutely smoke. The ball was coming to the bottom of the screen the entire time. And Dennis Gates, man, he has been really good right now in his play calls, trying to tighten down this lead.
Double figures in all but 3 games this year. Had a season high 43. That's Arkansas, and he is having himself a game. And an offensive rebound off a free throw from tough T.O. Barrett.
Kentucky just got outworked.
Yep. Wide open underneath Robinson. Diabate in the air. He's still there to block it.
What a 2-point saving play by Diabate.
Oh, and he lost it. Got loose, taking it right at Mark Mitchell.
Watch out.
He had it on his hip, and they blow the whistle either on Diabate or Garrison. It's going to be on Garrison.
Now, he's not LeBron James coming downhill, the most feared play in the NBA, but you're looking at a 6'9", 230-pound stud bringing that ball. And Garrison backing up and not throwing up a big blue wall to keep 25 in white getting to the rim.
Will stay at 4 as Mitchell missed the first free throw.
I mean, this kid's a heck of a college basketball player. He may or may not get drafted, but man, you want him in camp because this is the kind of guy that comes in and will steal somebody's spot.
13 points in the second half, and you saw there the little graphic. Missouri currently a last bye team for Joe Lunardi. So much on the line for the Tigers. Aberdeen one-on-one, steps in, floater, no!
Kentucky at one point was 9 out of 10 on rim shots in this game. But that was in the first half, and struggling a little bit in the second 20.
They led this by 16 points. Good Mitchell. Yep. Blows up Chandler. And great defense. Chandler planted. Mitchell lowered the shoulder, and they call it on 25 in white.
Yeah, that was the only chance that Colin Chandler had to win the fight, was to get his feet set and hang in there and take it. Mark Mitchell right there. Anytime you lower that shoulder and that defender is outside that restricted arc, That is the right call. Not popular with Dennis Gates, but is absolutely the right call at a crucial time.
Mitchell plays with just 2 fouls. Can Garrison get engaged? The other way on Diabate, and Pope right away goes to his head with his hands. Under 8 to go. Missouri has made this a game. Phillips sits with 4. Bridgestone Arena set for a fantastic finish in a 3-point game. 13 points in the second half in what may become a war of attrition here, Jimmy, with the guys that are in foul trouble, with Marino, the big guy for Kentucky, with 4, and Phillips, the emotional, inspirational leader, with 4 sitting on the bench. When does Pope and Gates go back to those guys? And what happens between then and now? A very big game for Missouri. Currently a last 4 bye, according to Joe Lunardi. They go one-on-one against Diabate. He rises. That's going to be a goaltend. It should be on Garrison. That appeared to be on the way down, Jimmy.
No call made.
Did you see it that way?
I saw it coming down for sure. But no call made. That ball, to me, is clearly coming down.
That's on the way down.
Yeah. They miss at a key time.
But it's a block. It's a season-high 4 for Garrison.
Short clock, Ravi. Missouri's got to know it.
Barrett step back 3. Looks short, and it is.
Mitchell has to stay involved, though. He's coming off of a 32-point game against Arkansas in overtime. He did not take a shot in the overtime period. He can't fade today.
Diabate dribbles right into 2 different players. Is it Owe time? He's got 10 on the shot clock against Barrett, who gets bodied up. Aberdeen. Chandler got his man in the air. Got it! Big ball fake by Chandler.
He is Captain Clutch. I'm telling you what, there's not a guy for Kentucky all season long that's better in short clock and better with under 4 to go in a game.
15 points for Colin Chandler.
Some guys live for those moments, and Colin Chandler is one of those guys.
As is Mark Mitchell from Missouri. He goes one-on-one. Blocked there by Diabate. Got it back, threw it up, and a whistle.
Yeah, what a warrior is 25 in white. But Colin Chandler, talked about it earlier, came in struggling shooting that basketball, only making 2 out of his last 13. But right here, the shot fake, you have to honor it. The sidestep 3, rise, release, rotation, bam, big result at a key time for Kentucky.
Jimmy, both of Kentucky's bigs have 4 fouls. Marino and Garrison with 6.5 minutes to play. It looks like Dennis Gates is going to pull the trigger first and bring his big guy, Phillips, back into the game.
I think Dennis Gates still talking about.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely still talking about that goaltending call. And finally,
he's
getting close.
He's going to have to walk away right now because you cannot get teed up and cost your team a point.
This is a point that he has made, we've made about Gates and controlling these emotions.
Ravi, let me make this point. I think Pat Adams and Byron Jarrett and Will Howard, I think they know we may have missed one, so they're going to give him some grace as well they should.
Mitchell knocks down a free throw.
Dennis Gates, calm on the outside. Heated right now on the inside.
Phillips and Mitchell both on the floor for Missouri. Owe spins into traffic, knocks it down. A couple of big shots from Chandler and Owe.
You are guarding his will and his strength as much as anything right now. If you're Missouri, talking about trying to check Owe. That cat's got a Valentine as big as this arena.
Chandler stepped in to knock it away. And then he falls down, but he's able to deflect it to Owe. And he rushed a shot. Mitchell wants it. Baseline flush, Mark Mitchell.
What a seal-off inside by Phillips. To sprint the floor and be in the front of that rim and highway block off an easy drive. So well done, a screen assist by the big.
calls for a play. Oweh's in the corner with his hands on his knees. Aberdeen, the drive, the baseline pull-up. Can't get it to go. Diabate in traffic with a huge offensive rebound. Oweh, three. Aberdeen gets blown up on the second offensive rebound of the trip.
There's just a fight level that is demanded if you want to advance in March. I don't care if you're conference tournament or NCAA. And you're coming down to possessions right now. That ball is worth gold, and Otega Oweh on the miss. Aberdeen, a good rebounder. That's one of the things I like about this Kentucky team. Those guards are all 6'4", 6'5". They can switch them defensively, and they will come up with a key board every now and then.
So Denzel Aberdeen, a near 80% free throw shooter, knocks down the first. Remember, of course, the Aberdeen story, played for the Florida Gators, and then they got into such a 20, 25, 26 deal with NIL, where the negotiations went sideways with Florida, and he ends up coming to Kentucky.
Yeah, and that's a quote from the folks that were involved in the conversation. The negotiations went south.
Yes.
But what a landing spot for Denzel Aberdeen.
Mitchell, three, knocked it down. How big has he been?
Ravi, he's too good to dare shoot. I mean, he's a 42% three-point shooter, and Kentucky just, what are you thinking to allow Mitchell to see that clean of a rim?
He's got 28 in the game. The lead is 4, and we are nearing the 4-minute mark. Aberdeen tries, way off.
I'm just scratching my head over Kentucky allowing Mitchell that clean of a look with a game in doubt.
Aberdeen is a 35% three-point shooter. Mitchell and Phillips, a two-man game down low. Go up. Pierce, back-to-back big buckets.
I thought Phillips had a chance to go right at this undersized defender, but man, Pierce, 6'10" and a tall target, easy to find for that backside bomb.
1-point game. Pierce missed the entire non-conference schedule with a lower body injury. Oweh sees a lane, throws it up and in. He is so strong.
I'm just telling you, you're guarding his strength more than anything, and his toughness and his inner belief right now driving Otega Oweh.
They want to get the ball to Mitchell and see if they go two-man game with Phillips.
Now, Diabate won't back off.
He wants to go to his left. He does. He gets the friendly roll. He's got 30.
Another great play call by Dennis Gates. Isolation, get shooters around him, and let my playmaker make a play.
Mitchell is trying to will his team to a win. They need it badly. Remember, a last 4 by, and that's a turnover. Chandler gave it up. Good hands that time by Robinson.
Well, you got two defensive guards in Barrett and Anthony Robinson for Dennis Gates that can cause havoc down the stretch, and they have played with hot hands, especially in this second half at key times. And the Missouri Tigers know we are right there on the cut line, and we got a chance to continue to have breath in Nashville in March. That is a mistake by Marino. Young freshman or not, know the scouting report. Mitchell makes him pay, and there's a kick out by Phillips on the inside. Pierce is 6'10". He's an easy target. Bam. What a finish we've got in Nashville. I'm expecting Auburn to come out with a fistful of fight in them, like Otega Oweh and Mitchell are playing in this game.
You see Auburn right there. First
right
4
there,
out.
man.
They're at the top.
That's big.
When you're at the top, that means your next step is into the last 4 in. Missouri moved to a last 4 bye today as Miami of Ohio lost for the first time to UMass in their tournament. Mitchell, double team, fade away.
Yes, sir.
Man, he can't miss right now.
The play call worked because, again, all the action, all the eye candy was absolutely smoke on this side of the floor, all designed to get Mark Mitchell in a one-on-one situation.
Jimmy, he's got all those points, and he is shooting about 65% in this half.
Rather, you know, as a head coach, if you had a good day calling plays, and Dennis Gates knows that right now. Coming out of that timeout, all the action, everything over here is smoke. just trying to get Kentucky distracted to get boom right here. Now you go to work with one-on-one with Mark Mitchell. The help doesn't come down. Very patient, stays on balance, rise and fire. Man, I love the play call by Dennis Gates.
Tell you, he doesn't need to be balanced to make his shots.
You're right, that's a good point. But again, this is a kid that's averaged 9-10 free throw attempts per game, 249 free throw attempts on the year. The most for a Missouri Tiger since 2014 is what Mark Mitchell has done.
Off a 16-point game yesterday, Aberdeen knocks down the free throw, and he now has 11 to tie this game at 70 with 2 minutes to go.
Well, you can have no agenda possessions right now either way. It can't be a my shot at all. It's got to be what is best for us.
3 of the bigs on the floor. Marino, Phillips, Mitchell, critical.
It's kind of a nervous applause for Big Blue Nation right now, isn't it? Feels like it.
Should be. Missouri's outscored him 41-33 this half, and Mitchell's been responsible for what feels like all of them. Into the paint, Garrison, good defense. 4 seconds on the clock. 2 seconds. Wild shot from behind the baseline.
One of the better defensive possessions by Kentucky, especially in this second half. They loaded to the ball and brought an extra body to Mark Mitchell, made him give it up.
Last 90 in a 1-point game. Oway, hard. Up and in. Otega Oway time.
Yeah, there's no way Oway. Well, yes, sir, there is. What a simple play by Mark Pope, getting Oway down that right side.
Dennis Gates wants to talk it over as Oway now. He's up to 20 points in the game on 9 of 18 shooting. And, of course, you remember his miracle shot in last year's tournament.
Well, this kid's got a smile and a spirit about him. That his will is what you're defending right now as much as anything, because Barrett's a good defender. But he just loses that first step, and Otega Oway doesn't drive the ball outside the lane. He gets right down that right side, and that left foot, boom, that's exactly where you need to be on those lane drives, Ravi. Not getting outside the lane, only not renting the paint. Really well done by Otega Oway at a key time.
Yeah, and Pope knows that's his guy down the stretch. The other part of that was Mitchell wasn't too interested in contesting that and getting another foul called against him. Oway, second half, 14 on 6 of 10. Mitchell, 23 on 9 of 14. Those are the 2 guys that you have to focus on.
Kentucky has 2 timeouts. Missouri doesn't have any. So this is Dennis Gates' last time maybe to circle his guys up on his command.
Jimmy, it's only Thursday. This is game 1 of 4. It is as good a game as we've seen in years, and maybe the best game we saw last year, figured, with Otega Oway making a drive on the baseline.
I just think if you're Mark Pope, you live with Otega Oway right now.
He gets the basketball. He drives. He puts it on! And in with a half second to go. Oway did it again to Oklahoma. Kentucky will win it. Yeah, Oway against Oklahoma. Very familiar territory for him. He's put his team up by 3 here. That was with a half second left. We still got 1:06 to go.
It's not about plays, it's about players right now. Dennis Gates obviously has a play drawn up, but it's about players. 25 in white is the guy. And if you're Kentucky, again, load to the ball, bring extra bodies, and don't let Mark Mitchell be the guy that makes the shot.
Well, Mitchell.
Oh, they dared him. They dared him.
Dare him again, and he won't take it. Garrison got double teamed by Oway, and it is Kentucky basketball.
Ravi, what did I just say? Load to the ball. Well, what does that look like? It looks like Otega Oway getting involved right here. Boom, load to the ball, eat it up, hot hands. Really well done. Now, Garrison, I give him credit. He held his ground and allowed Otega Oway to come in. And, yeah, it's off with the right leg of Mark Mitchell. Man, what a winning player is Otega Oway.
Again, Florida is waiting. They will play the winner of this game tomorrow in our first one at 1 Eastern time.
Just do not turn it over right now is what Mark Pope's thinking. Get a good shot, stay clean with it.
This is where what feels like the home court advantage for Kentucky is so big. Chandler with 6 on the clock. They get it to Marino. Somebody's got to put it up. Aberdeen gets it off in time, and he knocks it in. What a shot by Denzel Aberdeen as the shot clock wound to 0. And tempers flaring here at center court. Phillips is right there with a couple of the Kentucky players. But how about Denzel Aberdeen?
When teams come out on the floor so quickly, you're always in jeopardy of the opposing guys walking through your huddle, knocking shoulders, jawing a little bit. But man, Denzel Aberdeen, it looked like Missouri had really defended to the highest level. But Denzel Aberdeen, again, another play of a guy not letting the shot clock affect what he does. This is a veteran guard that has won a national championship. Right there, I thought Moreno does a good job of keeping the ball alive.
Kentucky has called a timeout.
And Denzel Aberdeen.
We're going to review everything that happens after the timeout.
Yeah, you do want to view everything that happens, Pat. Yeah, but that's a winning play. Again, Denzel Aberdeen, he's been a part of a national championship team. He knows how to play in tight situations.
I think, Jimmy, that went through with 0.2 of a second left on the shot clock.
There's maybe right there. Yeah.
Both of them.
Both of them. That could be contact, dead ball, fouls on both of them.
Both are sitting there with 4 fouls here, 22.5 to go.
You've said the entire game that Sean Phillips is the first to the fight, the last to leave. But boy, sometimes that's a great thing, and sometimes it can cost you.
You're right about the presence of mind, though, from Aberdeen. Ball fake, he absolutely could have jumped in and got 3 free throws with the defender flying at him. Instead, took it down low and went up off the window for a big 2-point basket.
That's what I thought it'd be. But Sean Phillips is out of the game because of the technical foul. It's been double technical fouls assessed.
Garrison as well.
After review, there'll be a double technical foul. Blue number 10, white number 15. Kentucky will have the ball out of bounds. The technical foul's all set, so there'll be no free throws.
But Garrison and Phillips are both out of the game. Probably more significantly, Jimmy, if it goes to overtime, because we got 22 seconds in a 5-point game. But
it's a bigger loss for Missouri.
Yes.
I mean, you're right here. You just got to understand how valuable you are, and you never want to back away and get punked, but there's also that line you don't cross over.
I need to correct something. It's going to be Missouri's ball, not Kentucky. Missouri's ball.
Yeah, Kentucky just scored. I was starting to wonder, why is it Kentucky's ball? A good correction, but
an intense battle back and forth in which Kentucky once held a 16-point lead. As we look at the bigger week of championship week and bracketology, Missouri knows, man, they are not assured a spot in the NCAA tournament. As you see in the lower right, Joe Lenardi has them as a last bye team.
Look at the emotions of Phillips right now on that sideline. Literally tears in his eyes with that towel with Dennis Gates. You think March Madness doesn't matter to folks as much as it does until you've been in a jersey like that. And Dennis Gates trying to calm his guy down. Man, that is what makes this month magical.
You know, Dennis Gates talks about the coaches that he's had in his life. He was a kid from the city of Chicago, went out to play at Cal Berkeley, and he stresses to his own players, like, I'm that guy too. And he communicates with his high school coach, his AAU coach, his college coach to this day, and he wants the same from his players. Missouri inbounds down 5, 22 to go. Barrett one-on-one with Aberdeen. Baseline reverse, he missed it, and Oweh grabbed the rebound.
From the same spot that he made the shot last year against Oklahoma, the honey hole for Otega Oweh with a defensive board.
And Mitchell fouls out with his, check that, that's his third. Mitchell stays in the game.
Barrett got all the way downhill. You know, they talked about it coming out of it. And our conversion offense, just get everybody on the left side and turn this press breaker into a one-on-one battle. T.O. Barrett just flat out missed one on the back side of the rim.
The winner gets Florida tomorrow at 1 Eastern time. And Kentucky is a couple of free throws away and 12 seconds from winning 2 games at this SEC tournament. Oweh's got 21. They trailed 70-69 and have gone on a 7-0 run since.
Kentucky has not won this tournament since 2018 in St. Louis. And that is uncommon for Big Blue Nation. They still have a lot of work to do.
Oweh misses. 2-possession game. Cruz is in the game. Pierce fires a 3. No good. And we're going to keep it here. Call that on Colin Chandler. He was boxing out Cruz. But 4.5 seconds remain.
Well, Kentucky on the verge of closing this one out, something they couldn't do in Rupp Arena. Missouri ended that game on a 15-2 run. But Otega Oweh almost single-handedly made sure that didn't happen in this one.
Well, Kentucky and Big Blue Nation are going to remember the baskets late by Oweh and Denzel Aberdeen. They shot 50% from the floor in this half and 49% for the game. Missouri has fought their way back by shooting 58% this half. Aberdeen has it. Missouri will foul, and we have 2.9 to go in the game.
Ravi, the value of guys at the guard spot that love the pressure, and they've been under the pressure and they performed. And Aberdeen comes into tournaments like this knowing I've proven it on the biggest of stages. I will not be rattled in Bridgestone Arena. Otega Oweh, we saw what he did last year in this arena. And Colin Chandler, we said it earlier, there's no one better in pressure situations and late clock as a shooter than Colin Chandler. As a result,
what a neat storyline tomorrow, assuming Kentucky does finish this thing off. You got Aberdeen, who could very well have been a Gator again, trying to go back-to-back, taking on his former team in Florida at 1 Eastern time.
And we were there Saturday. Florida closed out the regular season in Rupp, but it was a ball game. Kentucky played hard, they played well, and Florida's just the better team on that afternoon. But as we know, the longer this tournament goes and the longer Kentucky's in it, the more fans find Bridgestone.
The Wildcats with another victory in the SEC tournament, and they win it 78-72 in a hard-fought battle against the Tigers of Missouri.
You have to have closeout guards to advance in March. And Mark Pope's got a couple of them. Starts with Otega Oweh right there. He gets a piece of the paint just barely, but man, it sets him up for that high kiss off the right side of the glass. And then Denzel Aberdeen, shot clock winding down. Great job of getting inside, going right through the contact of Phillips. Those two dudes made plays. It's not about play calls, it's about players. Otega Oweh and Denzel Aberdeen answered the bell.
21 for Oweh, 16 for Aberdeen. A valiant effort by Mitchell with 32 in the loss. Kentucky advances. So 2 teams that were on the bubble have been sent home, including Texas and now Missouri, who will await their fate on Selection Sunday.